This is the plaintiff, Alicia Smith. She says the defendant is her niece, and the two of them were sitting making funeral arrangements at the funeral home for her mother, and they got into a disagreement. The defendant then lunged at her, attacked her, and punched her in the face. She pushed the crazed defendant back, and when she did that, the defendant bit her on the arm and finger. She had to have emergency surgery after the funeral, and is suing her lunatic niece for every penny of the $7,500 she now owes her. This is the defendant, Danielle Smith. She says the plaintiff wasn't comfortable signing the papers at the funeral home. So when she stood up and approached with a pen to sign, her insane aunt jumped out of her chair and then charged her. The plaintiff jumped on top of her, tried to pin her to the floor, and she bit her in self-defense. When the cops came, she wasn't charged with a thing because it was the plaintiff who struck first. And if anyone here today is owed money, it's most definitely not the plaintiff. She's accused of a funeral fight. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for pain and suffering.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Alicia Smith?
Yes.
You are suing your niece, Danielle Smith, for $7,500 in medical expenses and pain and suffering that happened, of all places, while the two of you were planning your grandmother's funeral, correct? What happened?
Well, Your Honor.
Oh, and you are counterclaiming against her $5,000 for pain and suffering?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, on this day, this incident took place. We was in the funeral where they make the arrangements.
And your mom died of what?
Pancreas cancer.
Okay. All right. So what happens? We have a diagram here. If you'd like to walk up to the board, maybe you could explain to me what happened in that room.
What happened in this room? Danielle was sitting here.
Okay.
My sister was sitting here. They was like close together.
Okay.
My older sister daughter was sitting here, and I was sitting here, and an in-law of my mom's was sitting here, right? So then, you know, we got up and we went to look for the casket, and I recognized Danielle's attitude from that point. So what I said, you know, I was gonna leave out. I wasn't gonna have anything to do with it because.
Well, why did you think she had an attitude?
I have no clue. My assumption is the night before, her mother's youngest daughter, she has custody of. She has custody of her mother's youngest daughter.
Yeah, of her sister.
Yes.
Okay.
And that night, my niece wanted to stay over my older sister's house with me. And I told her it was okay. I had no clue that it was a problem for her to stay there with me that night.
So you took a child she has custody of and brought her to sleep at a different house, and that's what she was mad at?
Yeah.
Why do you have custody of your sister?
Because at birth, my mother had drugs in her system, and that's how I ended up with custody of her.
I'm sorry, how old is your sister?
She's 14 now. She'll be 15
so that's not why you have custody of your sister 14 years later. Why do you have custody?
I had her for 14 years. Didn't have her for 14 years. I had her for 13 years. When I got her, when she was 3 years old, she was in foster care.
Wow.
Because, you know, they took her straight from the hospital. When they took her straight from the hospital.
And your mother never got her back?
No.
Did your mother have a serious drug problem?
She still does.
She still does?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So what happens?
We was discussing about my mother wanting the cremation and, you know, the service at the funeral parlor. The lady gave me the bill, which she gave me. She was giving me two, but she had one more in her hand. One was $7,800 and something, and the other one she gave me was $900 in reference to a pastor to, you know, get burial. And then the one that she had in her hand, she stated it was $3,000. So in my mind, you know, that's over the amount that my mother, you know, she stated that my mother claimed what her policy was.
How much was the policy for?
I don't know. My sister said it was $10,000.
All right, so you get a bill that's higher than the 10, and what do you say?
I said, really, actually, I'm not signing any of these papers because I don't understand anything about this, and I'm not putting my name on nothing that I'm going to be held accountable for after it's over. So I was like...
For your mother's funeral?
Yes. because I don't have the funds to, you know, pay. I'm struggling in financial situation as it is. So I said the only one I would sign is the paper for the funeral parlor, which was $7,800 and something. I said I'll put my name on that. And then I got up from the table. I was like, I'm not signing anything else. So I got up from the table and I went to walk out of the, you know, place. But Danielle had stated that, oh, give me the damn, can I curse in here? Give me the damn papers. I'ma sign the papers like that. So I turned around. I said, you're gonna talk like that? I said, you're not even supposed to be in here like that.
Why would you say that to your mother's granddaughter?
Because maybe I was wrong, but what I was told on the understanding that it was only
there was an in-law
daughter.
across from you. You didn't say that to the in-law.
No, but she made that statement, you know.
So then what happened?
Danielle said, oh, you something. I don't know exactly what she said. So I'm right here. I seen her get up out of her chair. She got up out of her chair and she came towards me. So I pushed this chair back out. The person that was sitting here had already left out of the, you know, out of that area. And she came, I didn't know that she was gonna hit me. She came and she threw a punch and it landed right here on my head. And everybody was like, ooh. I heard, they said, ooh, and then that's when I went to her and I grabbed her. She took her teeth in her mouth and, you know, bit me here. When I was pulling my arms out, she went to, you know, grab my fingers with her teeth and bit my teeth. So then that's when I grabbed her and I threw her down to the ground. And then my brother came in and he, you know, pulled her up. She had my hair. That's why I don't have no hair on the side. And that's when my brother was like, let her hair go, let her hair go. And she started kicking me in my head. And then she let my hair go. And that's when we got apart. So when I got up from the, you know, thing, I noticed the back of my finger was swollen.
Do you have any witnesses or any witness statements from people who were in the room that say it happened the way you said?
No, because...
Okay, let me hear from you and let me hear your story about how this happened.
Okay, she said she wasn't.
Do you want to come over here to the board and show me?
Victoria was here. She was here.
Victoria's who again?
Victoria is my cousin.
Okay.
She's a granddaughter as well.
Okay.
I was here.
Uh-huh.
Gloria was here.
And who's Gloria again?
Her sister. Aunt.
Whose sister?
Lisa's.
Oh, another aunt of yours.
Yes.
Okay.
And my Aunt B. That's
Okay.
my Uncle Pop's wife.
Okay.
She was sitting here. It was a disagreement on whether we was gonna bury her or if we was gonna cremate her. I'm trying to reach over and tell her, if this what you want to do, that's what we gonna do. I said, but stop saying that, oh, this is what we're going to do, because y'all all, it's for y'all. It's not just you. You're making all the decisions. You're not letting nobody, she wasn't letting nobody talk, so it wasn't like nobody was
Can I ask you
answering
guys
the
a question? What do you think? What was the name of your grandmother?
Betsy Smith.
Betsy?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think
Ooh, she rolling around in her
Betsy
grave.
was doing the days after she died, watching from above the two of you carry on like this? What do you think that Betsy is thinking about this?
Oh, she's rolling over in her grave. Ooh, and she's bothering me. She's still bothering me. Because she was in my house. I had moments, and I have neighbors that would tell you. She's like, her spirit is still inside my house. I don't be home. And they would tell me my lights is on. I come home and my lights is on. She's still bothering me. I'm still like, I don't want to be home because I'm in the process of trying to move. Because I don't want to be there because I'm scared.
Who's still bothering you? Your grandmother's
My grandma's spirit.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you get along with your grandmother?
Yes, we did.
You just don't like the idea of what you're saying? All right, so tell me what happens with the fight.
Okay, well, like she stated, she said she wasn't gonna sign the papers. She jumped up, threw the chair back, went to go storm out, and I said, well, I'll sign the papers. That's when she came from right here. I was walking to get the pen from off the desk to sign the papers. I don't have the money to sign it, but I would have made sure I would have did anything to make sure that it got paid. That's when she came charging towards me. When she charged towards me, I can't say, and I'm not gonna say I hit first or she hit first or who hit first. I know she grabbed me and was trying to throw me down on the floor. I was trying to bite her boobie. Because I know women's boobies is the softest spot that you want to let go immediately.
Okay.
But I bit her arm. Once I bit her arm, my uncle came in. He was pulling me up, pulling us apart.
Who hit her first?
I don't know.
Who grabbed you first?
She grabbed me first because she ran across the table while I was here.
Have you people fought before physically?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. All right.
Yes.
So,
yes, we have.
According to you, she grabs you and does what?
She was grabbing me and was like trying to throw me down on the floor like that, and I was like, and that's when I bit her arm.
Okay.
From there, that's when my uncle came in, and he was breaking us apart, and I was stabbing him in the leg with the pen.
Who, stabbing your uncle?
Yes.
What's
Get
wrong
off
with you?
of me. Because I told him don't touch me, and he kept on like he was.
He was trying to stop a fight at a funeral home. The guy's a hero. Why are you stabbing him with a pen?
I know. I know.
Yeah, that's why she's bothering you. Okay, so go on.
Yeah. So from there it part ways.
Go ahead and go over there. So you think that what she was interested in was the money?
Of course.
Okay.
If
and
you call the funeral home
directly,
directly, they will tell you the same thing as well.
There were so many people in that room. Do you have any witness statements from anybody who was in that room? Let me see. Who is this from?
That's from Victoria and Gloria
The what?
Smith. Victoria, the granddaughter, and Gloria is the sister.
Okay. An argument ensued about signing the papers. Alicia said she wasn't going to do it. Danielle said she would do it, stood up. They exchanged words. Alicia Smith headed towards Danielle. I'm not sure who the first hit. This is Gloria Smith, sister of Alicia. Is this your mother?
No, that's my aunt.
Okay. I'm a witness to the altercation that when Alicia threw the chair back and started toward Danielle to fight her. This is your own sister saying that.
Yeah, Anna,
Alicia started that fight with Danielle. Alicia hit first. I don't anything about her broken finger. You have both your arms and...
Well, I was out of work for, I tore a cartilage in my wrist from working.
And what ended up happening with that arm?
I had to have emergency surgery because when it's not the arm, it's the finger.
Okay.
So then when I immediately left after the burial of my mother.
Did you both attend the funeral?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Was there any further incident at the funeral?
No, she apologized to me.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Why is it that death causes so much strife in families?
Because it's a very emotional time. Like, you get riled up, you're happy, you're sad. Like, it's just a lot of things happening at once. And
the happy part, explain.
Because you're going on to a better place, so it's supposed to be...
No, you're not the dead guy.
No. I mean, I just mean, like, when someone dies, often we associate it with being sad and mad, but it's supposed to be a happy time too.
Fair enough. Why?
Families don't know how to deal with the loss. I mean, it's something that doesn't happen every day, so a lot of families don't know how to deal with that situation.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
She apologized. I apologized. And when she apologized, she said, even though you broke my finger, I said, at least I didn't break your finger. I said, if you stop grabbing people, because I'm not the first one. I'm not the first one. She did the same thing to her daughter. She did the same thing to my sister and my mother.
Stop talking. Go ahead and finish.
I gave them the x-ray result from the bite from, I guess, it tore.
Can I see your medical records? Why isn't there one person that corroborates the way you said it happened? Why is it that two people say you charged her?
That's what I wanted
to
speak on.
So let me see your medical records and then tell me why nobody takes your side. Who was there?
Your Honor, between me and my brothers and my sisters, they always had something against me in reference to my mom because they always said that my mom favoritized me.
Okay, folks, let me explain how this works. I see from your medical records that you had a mildly displaced fracture. But what it comes down to is, are you able to prove in this courtroom that it's more likely than not that she attacked you versus you attacking her? And it's your word against hers. And then she comes in with two other affidavits from people who were in the room. One of them says, look, I don't know who exactly hit who, but I saw her charge. And the other one says she charged and she grabbed, corroborating what she says. So I'm not going to find in your favor in the amount of $7,500 because I don't think you've proven it. And you've got a counterclaim against her for $5,000 for pain and suffering for what? Because heaven forbid that there not be a counterclaim. So what is your lawsuit against her about?
On Facebook, you taking a baby picture of me and you're writing this. I can give it to you.
What did you do on Facebook with her baby picture?
I believe I could, it wasn't derogatory or anything against it. I put a picture stating something I put on there, but it was in...
How I was there when I was only a confused child searching for what was pure love, and that little baby who was supposed to be my niece, where I sacrificed a lot of my time back then to make sure she was nurtured and loved, is cause to my left finger malfunction today. All I can say is wow.
Your Honor.
All right, no, we're done. We're done. We're done.
Because that
for you to no, I said we're done. In your lawsuit against her, my verdict is 0. You haven't proven that you didn't strike first. In fact, if anything, I think you did attack her first. And true. On your lawsuit against her for pain and suffering because she's smack talking, whatever she's saying on her Facebook about how she feels about you does not warrant $5,000 in pain and suffering. Ladies, put this behind you. If, not for me and not for each other, at least do it for your mother and your grandmother. Just put this behind you. Good luck.
Well, in this lawsuit between family members, what do you think is going to happen now after this, as a result of this lawsuit?
Well, for myself, I already said that, you know, it's a done deal. This has never happened to me again. You know?
Really?
No, of course not.
Well, good luck.
You know, because my heart is clean because I told the truth.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you very much.
God bless.
Now, here comes Danielle Smith. Let me ask you, what do you think, from your perspective, is going to happen now as a result of this lawsuit?
Oh, I'm done with it. I left it alone the day it happened.
Okay. I want to ask you, you're hoping to move out of your apartment?
Yes.
Your home? Are you afraid of your grandmother's?
No, I'm not going to move.
You're not going to move?
No, I'm not going to move just yet. I'm going to try to give it a little bit more time because I think
you think
it's something there.
Her ghost is there?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope she doesn't scare you too bad. I don't think she means to scare you.
It's just being home alone.
Congratulations.
Thank
All right.
You know, they're suing for pain and suffering. There's got to be some kind of injury to get pain and suffering, and here there is none.
This is the plaintiff, Sean Simpkins. He says the defendant, his cousin, stole his mother's funeral money by giving her a cheap burial and pocketing the rest. That's right. His mother had a $7,000 funeral policy, and the defendant only spent $3,500 on her funeral. And she stole the rest of the money. Unbelievable. Terrible. Disgusting. You name it. He's suing for $5,000 for mental anguish and stolen inheritance. This is the defendant, Dawn Green Wright. She says the plaintiff's mother listed her as the trustee for her accounts instead of the plaintiff because he's irresponsible with money. He and his mother had a toxic relationship. He didn't visit her when she was sick. And he's the one who's sickening because all he's out for by filing this lawsuit is money because he has none. She's accused of pocketing funeral money.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says his cousin, the defendant, stole his mom's funeral money and cheaped out on the burial. But the defendant says the plaintiff was a terrible son. It's the case of I will bury you.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Simpkins.
Yes.
You're suing Dawn Green Wright, who you describe as my second cousin that I've loved all my life, for $5,000 for mental anguish and inheritance. What's going on?
Well, I left New York back in 2003, and a year later, my mother made my cousin trustee of her affairs if should anything happen to her. A couple of years back, she had heart surgery, open heart surgery, and that's when Dawn stepped in. She took care of her house, fed her cats, you know, shop for her for things that she needed.
And had she already been made trustee before that?
Yes, she was made trustee in 2004.
Okay.
She had.
When did your mother get sick with the heart surgery?
This was like 2016.
Okay, so many years later, then she moves in.
No, she never moved in.
Oh, she doesn't move in.
But from 2000 all the way up until then, she never visited my mother. You know what I mean? And my mother lived 4 blocks from Yankee Stadium, and they were selling T-shirts at Yankee Stadium like almost every game.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying because your mother had her for all those years as a trustee.
Right, but you know she never visited her until she got sick.
Okay.
So then fast forward to last year, August of 2018, my mother got real sick, went to the hospital, got admitted, and diagnosed with cancer. After that, she got transferred from Bronx Lebanon Hospital to hospice in the Bronx. My mother passes away in October 20th, and
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And yours. Thank you.
I went out there because I drive trucks. I went and drove my semi out there a couple of weeks before she passed.
Where's out there?
To the Bronx.
Okay, and where do you live?
I live in Kansas.
In Kansas, okay.
Right. So I was working at the time, so my company gave me a load out there so I can take a few days off and visit my mother. Went up there, stayed with Dawn at her home, visited my mother a few times, went back home. 2 weeks later, my mom passes. So after that, I packed my whole family up and we drive back down there in our car, our personal vehicle. We get there and I come to the funeral home and I walk up there, my family's in front, and I see a body in the casket. I didn't pay it no mind. I turned around and asked Dawn, "Where's my mama?" She said, "That's your mama." I said, "That's not my mama." She said, "Boy, you crazy. That's your mama." I said, "Man, listen, I know my mother. That's not my mother in that casket." So I have pictures that I wanted to show you that to prove. Everybody I show these to know that all the makeup, all the embalming, everything cannot tell me that this is my mother. So I don't know what.
Do you think your mother's alive?
No.
What is it you're saying?
I think she was cremated and another body was produced for a service.
And they killed someone and put a body for the service?
Or they used someone who was already passed away. I don't know. It sounds crazy.
Yeah, it does.
But I just know in my heart, I know my mama. My mama's my twin. You know, I just strongly believe that that wasn't my mama. So I was already being made to look I was crazy, so I didn't say nothing. But now I'm feeling numb now. I can't mourn because I know in my heart that's not my mama.
Have you spoken to the doctors at hospice? Have you spoken to hospice?
I've spoken to them.
And they say your mother passed?
Yeah.
And did you speak to the funeral home?
Yes.
And did you confirm with them that your mother wasn't cremated?
They said she was, but after the service.
Okay, so did they confirm that that body was your mother?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then why can't you sleep? Who do you think is trying to pull one over on you?
I don't know. I don't know. I might be crazy, but that's how I felt at the time. Okay. When I look at these pictures, I know it's not my mama.
Okay, so go on.
So I'm dealing with that, and then around November 14th or so, I get a text from my cousin Dawn saying, "What's your address?" I said, "Wow, what's going on?" I sent her my address, and I said, "What's going on?" "Oh, I'm going to send you some money." So I'm like, "Okay, well, what's this from?" "Oh, from your mother's money." So I was like, "Okay, well, thank you. Well, where's the rest?" She texted me back, "Call me." So I called her. I had the phone recording. And I asked her about it, and she was like, "Yo, I'm doing you a favor, understand?" Yeah.
Do you have the recording?
Yes.
Can I hear it?
Yes.
You spent $1,000? Sean, I'm doing you a favor, and you doing me a favor. I offered you something. Slow down, because we had an agreement. We had an agreement? This ain't no damn contract. What? How you coming out at me, first of all, Sean? I ain't coming out at you. You coming out at me right now. What are you talking about? What am I talking? Okay, so you saying my mother left that to you? She left the money in her bank to you? Yes, I just faxed you the paper. She did that in 2004. Okay, I want to see that. She put me as a trustee. No, but see, you're misunderstanding. First of all, you need to calm down because I'm just talking to you. Me off. I'm you off. Okay, trustee don't mean beneficiary. I know what the word means. I'm not stupid. It ain't yours. It ain't yours either, son. I didn't have to give you anything. It ain't yours. She gave it to me. She left it to me. You are not a beneficiary. You are a trustee. Trustee. That's right. There's a difference. Let me explain to you real quick. When I went trustee, plus I had my paperwork. They said, when she dies, you come and get the money. That's what they told me. I know what she told me.
All I need is copies of everything. I want her death certificate. I want the invoice of the funeral services. That was only $3,500.
First of all, it wasn't $3,500.
Yes, it was. The funeral director told me.
I know exactly how much it was.
Okay, so send me the invoice.
I did it. And why you gotta have all these things anyway?
Because I want it. My mama, I need it.
You know, you really, I don't even understand you right now.
What do you mean you don't understand me right now?
First of all, when your mother got sick, you understand me? I was there. When I came out of my pocket, nobody offered me nothing. I did this out of the kindness of my heart for my cousin. You understand me? Her dress alone was $200. I spent money on my cousin. You understand me? Her earrings, her necklace, $75. From her underwear on up, I spent $200. I spent $250 on this food. I offered some to you, and now you're ungrateful. It's coming at me.
Ungrateful?
Coming at me.
Turn it off for a second. I take it you didn't know you were being...
no.
Yeah.
But I meant it.
I know. I can hear the sound of someone who meant it. What were you mad at him about? Tell me your...
Because he wasn't there for anything. I had to make decisions to put the tube down her throat. I had to make decisions to put her in the hospice. You understand? He wasn't a part of that. I was texting him. I'm sorry, I was calling him. I was sending him pictures of her. Come on, Sean, come on. He took his time. And then you want to come out acting like, you know, son of the year.
Hold on.
He wants to act like son of the year. You know what I mean? His mother couldn't stand him. She said that out of her own mouth. She said, Dawn, do not trust this man. But I always stayed with Sean. From a little boy, I always looked after him. I never, her mother would be one ear, he'd be in the other ear about her.
Why were you demanding copies of the bill for the funeral? Did you pay for the funeral?
No. Okay. Well, I know my mother had a $7,000 policy.
Made in, who was the beneficiary of that policy?
My uncle.
Okay, what do you have to do with that then?
Because I just wanted to see where things was going.
What difference does it make if the policy was for $7,000 and the funeral cost $5,000? The rest of that money's for the uncle. That's between you and the uncle. Why are you demanding from her to give you policies and bills and all that other stuff? The person who was by your mother's side when you were in Kansas and couldn't be there. I mean.
Well,
so let's see the bank account we're talking about. It's this very specific bank account that we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I have a letter from my mother's pension system that says I'm a beneficiary.
Are you collecting that money?
No, because I'm waiting for the death certificate, which I filed.
Well, why don't you just get the death certificate? That has nothing to do with her either. So are you suggesting that any payments went into the bank account?
Yes.
What payment?
Whatever payment that they give
whatever is not an answer.
I don't know.
Well, I need evidence of that.
They won't give me the information until I produce the death certificate. That was one of the reasons why I needed the death certificate
Then you should have gotten it from the funeral. No, you don't seem to understand what a death certificate is. It's not something she creates. Everybody else doesn't have to solve your problems. You don't need the death certificate from her. You need it from the funeral place. What's the date of her death?
October 20th.
Is that accurate, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. Did any payments on the pension go into the account after her death?
I went to the bank yesterday and they told me one went in.
Okay. All right. Okay, first of all, what we have here is a failure to communicate. Every time you said to him, I am the trustee, I don't know if you were trustee of other stuff.
No.
But when an account is held in the following manner, Joyce Simpkins in trust for Dawn Renee Green Wright, you are the beneficiary. Oh. You are what is called the beneficiary, not the trustee.
Okay, but I texted that to him.
I know, but you were screaming at him and saying, well, you don't know what trustee means. Have you seen this document that shows her?
Yes, he has.
Yeah, you're not at all.
No, I haven't.
Well,
I have not seen it.
What was it she sent to you?
I sent it to him.
Oh, that picture there?
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Oh, it says in trust.
Yeah, well, you know what that means. If you're so hip on the language, then you know that that means that she's the beneficiary.
I was led to understand trustee means
No,
controls.
Trustee does mean that. In trust for doesn't mean that the next name that's after it is the trustee. The words in trust for,
right.
Operative word being for, means that the name after that is the beneficiary. Okay?
Correct.
All right, guys. So this was a joint account. in your mother and her name, okay? So until the date of death and even thereafter, it's her money. Now, if money is going in there that is coming from the pension fund, and you are in fact the beneficiary of the pension, do you know whether he is or not?
I don't know.
It says that I sent you the paper from the pension.
Yeah, he is. Okay. According to the paper. So let me tell you where this stuff gets handled. You folks are avoiding probate court because it costs money to go to probate court. But guess what? Don't touch the money that's going in there now.
Right.
Okay? Because any money that is there frozen on October 20th, you are right, belongs to you. But any money that comes in after that does not belong to you.
Right.
Okay? It belongs to whoever her sole survivor is. Unless she left a will. Did she leave a will?
No.
Okay. So then her survivor, who is you, would be entitled to any assets beyond what is in that account at the time of her death. Now, it's going to cost you a lot of money to go to probate, so I'm going to attempt to figure this out in a way that is acceptable to both of you guys. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So is it an excuse if a son or daughter says, it was too painful for me to visit my parent in the hospital because they were really sick? Is that a legit excuse?
No.
Why?
Because it's your obligation as their son or daughter.
What if they say they just can't handle it because it's too painful?
No, because you should go for them, not for you.
An excellent point. What do you say?
I disagree, actually. I think that your own mental health is a health issue as well, and you have a right to protect yourself. So
that could end up being an excuse, just not wanting to be uncomfortable, right?
No, I think your mental health is just as important as your physical health. So if you physically couldn't go, that would be a legitimate excuse. So if you emotionally can't go, that's a legitimate excuse as well.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
What we're going to do is we're going to cover everything that's come in after her death. Okay? Because anything that came in before her death, she's right, that was hers. All right, now, there are 3 payments from the pension. Hold on. These 2 come in before her death. So I only see 1 that comes in after her death.
Right.
That one is on the 2nd page, and it's dated October 31st for $515.70.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. 1 pension payment of $515.70. Correct?
Correct.
All right, don't touch the $515.70. Do what you have to do in order to get the pension company to declare that the money is yours.
Yes.
Once you have that paperwork, send it to Dawn, please. Or if you don't want to have communications with Dawn anymore because it's gotten so bad, how are your communications with the husband? Bad
He
too?
can
or
send
okay?
it to me. It
He can
doesn't
send it to
matter.
you? All right, so send it to her, and then at that point, that money, because it really represents a pension payment, does go to him.
He can have it.
Okay, that's how we're handling that. And is there any other property that was involved?
No.
No.
All right. Is everybody in agreement with what I've just said?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then I don't see why you need to open up a probate case if there's no other property and it was just about this bank account, right?
Right.
All right, folks. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And good luck, okay?
Thank you.
So, after careful consideration, the judge has really worked out an agreement here between the parties that'll save them from going to probate court. You understand now?
Yes.
You're pretty clear. There was no judgment entered here. Okay?
No problem.
All right, good enough. Can you communicate with your cousin?
Now they have a reason to be mad at me.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a shame. Okay. Well, good luck to
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Greenwright, you understand too now.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, good luck to you. I'm sorry this is such a
It's okay.
such a mess. But anyway, it's been worked out. And the judge saved you, I think, a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay, good enough.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, Doug, in most states, if you die without a will, the spouse and the kids will get the money first, and if there's no spouse or kids, then the parents get it. If there are no parents, brothers and sisters get it.
This is the plaintiff, Winifred. She says the defendant is her sister, and the snake stole her mother's life insurance money, and she won't give it to her to pay for her mother's funeral. She had to lay the money out herself for their mother's funeral. Her sister took the money and went on vacation. And somewhere, somehow, their mother's looking down on the defendant with disgust right now. She's suing for $5,000, the amount she surely owed. This is the defendant, Cordelia Rents. She says her sister, the plaintiff, went to court behind their backs in order to take control of their mother's money when she was alive. Bottom line, her mother had 2 life insurance policies. One of them named her as the beneficiary. The plaintiff's a bully. She owes her nothing for the funeral because it was paid for with contributions from family and friends, and her lovely sisters do nothing. She's accused of refusing to fund a funeral.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated and come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Winifred, you've asked us not to use your last name. You're suing your sister, Cordelia Rents.
Yes.
For $5,000 that you say she owes you for your mother's funeral. I'm sorry for the passing of your mom. When did she pass away?
September 9th.
Okay. Are you the actual executor of the estate?
Yes.
Did you have to go to probate?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, your mom passes away, and what was the precipitating cause?
Natural causes, old age.
Okay. How old is she?
My mother was 86 when she passed.
Okay. All right. How many siblings are there?
There's only 3 of us.
Did you grow up in the same house?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Basically, yes.
So now, when it comes time to plan your mother's funeral, what are the discussions that are had amongst you folks regarding the payment of it?
Her policy was supposed to pay for the funeral, but one of them was only $5,000, and then I found out that AARP she dropped that one, so they only paid a partial.
Okay. Now, were the policies specified that the payout was to pay for the funeral?
Yes.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Okay, may I see the policies?
I don't have the original. My sister's supposed to have the original.
Okay, do you have it?
They take it after they pass away.
Did it specify that it was to pay the funeral expenses?
No.
Yes.
What did it say?
She had the policy for 20 years, and I was the beneficiary. It was non-transferable.
Why did she make it just to you? She has 3 daughters. I mean, was it to pay the funeral expenses?
I used to be on drugs. I got clean and sober, 20 years clean. I always helped my mom with everything. Unfortunate circumstances, my sister came and lived with my mom.
Why was that unfortunate?
She had lost her apartment.
Your sister had?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was taking care of my mom all these years. So when she got there, I still tried to help out. I'm telling her, Letty, well, I'm sorry, we call her Letty. Mommy has 2 policies. One automatically come out her account. The other one, you got to make sure you pay it. Everything's under the bed.
Which is the one that you got to make sure you pay? The AARP?
AARP.
Okay.
So when she passed away, I called the insurance companies and Baker's. I went to the insurance company myself.
There's 2 different policies.
2
one
different
is
policies.
AARP and the other one is what?
Bankers.
Okay.
Life insurance. So she always told me, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. Fine, I'm not going to tell you. You know what you're doing. So when it came time when my mother passed, before she passed away, she was in the nursing home where I worked at. She was trying to have my mom committed there. My mom was in her right state of mind. So I called probate court, and I asked them, I said, what is this about? The lady said, Winifred is trying to be over her estate, everything. So I was like, she can't do that. My mother in her right state of mind. So I never went.
Well, that's actually what you got to go and say. I mean, that's so I never went means the person who does go says whatever they want and there's no contradicting
my mom went with her.
Is there an order from that time in court?
Yes, I have it. And this is from...
And the order gives you power of attorney over all of her matters?
Yes.
All right, yes. So then she passed, and that order was entered into when?
2016.
Okay, so years ago. All right.
And then what happens is you were starting to tell me about some payments on the AARP policy.
Yes.
Those had to be paid.
Yes.
And what happened with the AARP policy, ma'am? You didn't pay them?
My mother stopped the policy.
What do you mean your mother? You've been on top of this since 2016.
Yeah, but my mother would not keep going on with that policy. Only one policy she had.
No, I need to ask you why. Because
I don't know.
Well, you're the fiduciary in charge. Why didn't you just make the payment? How much was that going to pay?
$5,000.
$5,000 also.
Yes.
That seems to me like an oversight, that it ended up that payments were missed because your mom wasn't responsible for payment after October 2016. You were.
No, she still was in her right mind to do her.
Okay, well then you're the fiduciary. That now this part of what she's saying is true, that you have to be a good fiduciary. You become personally liable for a problem if you're not a good fiduciary. So we know what happened to the AARP. Then the other one, the AARP specifically said to cover the funeral, right?
Yes.
And according to you, the Baker policy was also earmarked for the funeral?
Yes.
Okay, not spiritually, not because your mama said so, but on the papers?
Yes.
Okay, and you don't have the copies, and you're the fiduciary.
Right, but
Why don't you have the copies?
I went to Baker's and they say this is all they had that they gave me.
Okay, we're going to need to see it because what ends up happening is you guys pick a $10,000 funeral.
I have this invoice.
Right? You pick a $10,000 funeral. What's that?
This is the invoice from Baker's.
Let me see what you've got. Hand it to Douglas, please.
So who's there planning the funeral?
Both of us.
Okay, and so nobody's surprised that this funeral's costing $10,000. You guys are picking the stuff out that makes it cost that.
Right.
Right. Okay. Now, who signs for the funeral?
I did.
Okay. And what is there to your mother's estate? Did she leave any money behind?
No.
So when you're planning the funeral, everybody thinks AARP is going to pay $5,000.
Yes.
Right. So you're planning a funeral that costs $10,000 because you got $5,000 from AARP and $5,000 from Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So isn't the expectation then that the $5,000 from Baker be expended on the funeral?
No, it wasn't, because before Winifred came to live with my mom, me and my mom always talk about everything. She was like, I'm leaving this.
Why just to you? She's got 2 other daughters. Why are you so favored?
No, I was the spoiled one.
Okay, but why is it that you answered my question when I said you're planning a $10,000 funeral and both of you are thinking it's going to get paid for by the only thing there is, you said yes.
Yes.
And then now that I'm asking you, go, nah, I get to keep it. What changed?
No, my mom and I been talked about bankers before Winifred.
So then why did you say yes when I said you guys were planning a $10,000 funeral? What role were you supposed to have in helping to pay for your mother's funeral? I don't understand how you're just sitting back and saying it's somebody else's problem.
No,
why? Because she screwed up the payments to AARP?
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, how much did you pay for the funeral?
Nothing.
0?
Nothing.
Okay, you need to stop talking and you need to answer with a number, not words. How much have you paid for the funeral?
I don't know, because half of it from AARP was from me, because both of our names were on it.
Well, that's not from you. That's from AARP.
Okay, then that night people had gave my sister money.
Who gave your sister money?
The envelopes, people. My mom, it was over 300 and some people at her homegoing service.
Okay.
So
how many people gave her money?
It was like stacks of cards, because when she moved out, I helped, finish packing up her stuff. And I don't know what they gave her, because she opened the envelopes by herself. She didn't say anything.
Did you ever ask her, hey, what's in those envelopes?
That's not easy said and done with less.
Really? This is easier? This is easier.
This is what
Ending up in court than saying, here, come here, I made you a cup of coffee. Let's sit down and open up and see how short we're going to be. Like, I don't get it. How much money did you get from envelopes? Hello, I'm talking to you.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Would you sue a brother or sister if they screwed you out of your part of the inheritance and kept it for themselves?
Definitely. I would definitely sue them for
to the
as I can get.
Fair enough. I mean, but what about the argument about blood is thicker than water?
You know, being that my brother is standing back there right now, I'd have to say I would not sue him.
But if he wasn't standing there, what would you say?
I would absolutely sue him.
Perfect. Going inside the courtroom.
How much money did you get from envelopes from people who were handing you envelopes?
I got like 5 envelopes.
How much money did you get?
It got to be like a 50 in one, 20 in another one, 10 in another one.
That is a whole ball.
How much money total did you get?
No more than $100.
Okay.
And she had
what
got
did
cards
you do
too.
with the money?
I didn't get not one card.
I gave my sister something to get back home with.
Which sister? The other one?
Other sister to Florida because they didn't have money to get back. There was some people gave Cordelia cards, gave Nessie cards.
They did not give me a card.
When she got home the next day, she gave me the cards that the people from Macedonia gave her.
And so who gave you the card? She did?
Yes, and she
handed
said,
you cards?
yeah, she told me to handle.
The people from Macedonia, what does that mean?
Macedonia Church.
It was a church that I
and
belonged
she gave
to.
you the cards?
Right.
You gave her the cards from Macedonia Church?
Every card they gave me, I gave it to her.
Okay.
After she went through it, then she told me to respond to the thank you for the cards, and I never did.
Okay, but where's the money in the? Was there money in the card?
It was a couple of. I don't know about what was in the card she had. The card she had a couple of. I know there was one of them had $20.
I'm not sure that we can take into account what we're guessing was in cards that are handed to specific people. But here's, what happens. You may feel that morally the three of you should pay, and maybe that's true. I deal in legally. Now that policy is only made out to her. I wouldn't get too big a smile on my face.
I'm not, man.
Right. Because no matter what, it's super sad. But but that policy is made out to her. However, I find that on that day when y'all are planning this, it couldn't be clearer to me that this was those two policy proceeds are supposed to pay this.
Yes.
Okay. So even I am gonna order the $5,000 to be paid to her. Okay, because that's what you agreed to. And you're still out the other $5,000 because you paid it because, the AARP thing the premiums got botched. I'm very sad that you two sisters could bury the entire prior lives you had at such a moment like this over cash. And it's, you think it's her fault because she brought you to court. She thinks it's your fault because you wanted to renegotiate what was discussed on the day of the burial.
Ma'am, I don't think it, like...
Do you love your sister?
I tell her every day.
When was the last time you talked to her?
I talk to her every day.
Did you talk to her yesterday?
Yes.
Before coming here?
We talk every...
What do you talk about when you have a lawsuit over your head?
When the guy came and delivered them papers to me, I was like, what? She couldn't even come and talk to me.
Well, that's because she had been asking you for the money and you wouldn't pay
She
it.
didn't ask me. She was in my face every day.
That's asking you for the money.
No,
that's
she
not
didn't say,
asking you.
But the thing is, I never said I wouldn't help her.
You don't seem to understand what we're talking about.
I'm not.
There is no point in continuing to talk.
Okay,
I never
fine.
said I wouldn't help you. I just took the $5,000 and pocketed it. And according to you, she took a vacation, right?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, okay. $5,000 verdict for the plaintiff.
Bald-faced lie.
Well, in this dispute between sisters, the plaintiff prevails, gets $5,000. You were mad a moment ago. Now you're laughing. How do you feel?
I never was mad. If that's going to make her happy, at the end of the day, I tell everybody, she's still my sister. I still love her.
She's still living with you?
No.
My goodness.
No.
Don't shock me there.
No.
What's this going to do to your relationship now at this point?
I still love her. We still going to be together. She's still going to come to my house.
Did you come here together today?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Good luck.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Winifred, did you file a suit and didn't even tell her about it?
She knew about it.
She did know about it?
Yes, because I told her when she told me she had the money and she asked me what I want to do with it. I said, I want all the money. And she said she did something with the money, and then I said, well, you're going to court. And that was it.
Can't believe this. What do you?
It's hard.
You still love her?
Yeah, I still love my sister. I love all my sisters.
So everything's going to be okay now?
Left.
You've been to court? You're going to be okay now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Harvey?
It seems weird, Doug, but, a lot of times you can sue somebody where there's an honest disagreement where you just want a neutral third party to work it out, and afterward, there really can be no hard feelings.